Remember how I said this day was already bad as it could be, and that the worst things are behind me? Well, sort of lied about that. Okay, so first, the girl I'm obsessed with doesn't even want to talk to me. I fell in front of her purposely, just so she could say something. She doesn't say anything. And then my friends tell me I can't sit at their table and tell my friends to ignore me, other friends to ignore me. And after all that, I don't make the soccer team, and I'm a freaking tree for my school play. And then after all that, on top of all that, I get a E on my English test. So I get home, and of course, my parents are mad as can be. They're like super red. Their face is just like red as crap. And I'm like, oh my god, I'm done. Like I can't. They took my car keys. First of all, I got my license. I've only been in one accident, so it's good. And they said I can't get the new shoes I wanted. I can't hang out with my friends for like 2 months, which is forever. And they said I can't wrestle for a week. And I'm not even allowed to look at the bowling alley. Like I don't even know what I can do right now. This day's been the worst day of my life, and I'm like sick and tired of it. Like why can't I just have a good life for once? This is so stupid. Hopefully you guys are having a better day than me, cause I'm freaking sick and tired of this.
Clap. Man, George, your day just seems to be so bad. It seems like it can't get any worse, but I bet you're glad it's almost over. You're home now, and the day's almost over. But I want you to remember something. Tomorrow is a new day, and there are new opportunities, and you can have a fresh start tomorrow. But I think you're probably getting used to what we're going to do here. We're going to show you what the Bible has to say about what you just experienced with your parents. And, I know what it's like to disagree with my parents. I still disagree with my parents sometimes, but you have to learn how to do it in the right way. And we're going to read a passage that tells us what to do. Ephesians 6, 1-3. It says, "Children, obey your parents in the Lord, for this is right. Honor your father and mother. This is the first commandment with a promise, that it may go well with you and that you may live long in the land." This verse seems pretty serious. It says that you may live long in the land, that it may go well with you. That sounds something we should pay attention to. And this verse isn't saying that everybody that dies young didn't honor their parents. That'd be pretty scary. It's saying that the principle is that if we honor our parents, we will live longer. And why? It makes sense. Because we will avoid sin. We will avoid doing things that are going to hurt us. And it makes sense. And also, life isn't just about years. You will experience a more rich, full life when you live in the way that God wants you to. And that's hopefully the way your parents are leading you. And this is one of the 10 commandments, and it's the only 10 commandment with a promise. And I don't know about you, but I want to live long. I want to experience the best there is in life. And we need to figure out how to do this thing called honoring our parents. This is a big deal. Let me show you in Romans 1, verses 29-31, why it's such a big deal. It says, "They were filled with all manner of unrighteousness, evil, covetousness, malice. They are full of envy, murder, strife, deceit, maliciousness. They are gossips, slanderers, hater of God, insolent, haughty, boastful, inventors of evil, disobedient to parents, foolish, faithless, heartless, ruthless." Notice it says disobedient to parents in the same list where it says murderers, haters of God, and ruthless people. That's a bad list to be a part of. I don't want to be in that list. And so I hope you get the picture. This is serious. Not because I say it's serious, not because your parents say it's serious, because God says it's serious. And we need to look at what it means to honor our parents. And there's 3 things I think that will be very helpful for us to practice. First is respect, second is submit, and then third is try to understand. So for respect, God has placed different people in different roles in your life. He's placed principals, teachers, parents, he's placed pastors, coaches. They all are in a place, police officers, they all are in a place of authority in your life. And there's one role that doesn't change much, and thank God for that. Parents. You have the same parents this year and next year. And for teachers, you have different teachers every year. When you're younger, you have different teachers every class, and it's strange. I mean, when you're older, you have different teachers every class. But we have parents all through our life. And there's exceptions, but that's the norm. And who set it up that way? God did. God set it up that way. God created Adam and Eve, and he gave them the ability to have children, and he created it so they had to raise the children, and that the kids need their parents. Think about the animal kingdom. We are in the woods right now, and I am a hunter, so I'm looking for deer. Okay, so when I look at deer, I observe them from 30 feet up. I'm looking down and I observe what they're doing, and I've done research to know their habits because I'm hunting them and trying to figure out where they're gonna go. And this is what happens with deer. There are fawns. Fawns are the little baby ones. When they're really young, they're spotted. We don't hunt those, just so you know. When they get bigger, we do. But when a deer is born, it can walk the same day, and they only need to be fed for 8 weeks, and then they can eat on their own. That is crazy. Humans can't do that. We can't do that. We are helpless. It is a lot of work to raise a kid. I have not done it, but I've seen it, and it's a lot of work. And God decided to set it up that way. And we have to, if your parents decided to not feed you for after 8 weeks, you would not live. Your parents put a lot of work into you. God set it up this way that we need our parents, not just so that we can survive, but so we can thrive, so that we can be all that God wants us to be. This is His plan. And you know, sometimes we think that we're smarter than our parents, and maybe in some instances you're wrong. I mean, you're right and they're wrong. It doesn't matter. It doesn't change the fact that God says to respect our parents, to honor our parents. And you know, they help us mature and grow up without killing ourselves. Aren't you glad your parents told you don't put your hand on this hot stove? Because if you do that, you would get burnt. I mean, that'd be bad. Your parents are trying to do the best for you. The same thing goes when George gets grounded. The parents decided that is the best thing for him to learn how to not have these bad grades in the future. And, you know, honoring our parents, we need to show them respect. But it's not just about how we talk. It's about how we walk. It's about what we do, how our attitudes are, how our actions are. It's more than just saying the right things or not saying the wrong things. That's what we naturally think about. It's every area of life. We have to show them respect in words and actions. When Jesus was talking to the Pharisees, what they were doing was they were giving all their extra money to church, and they weren't helping their parents that needed help. And Jesus said, "Why are you doing that? Why aren't you honoring your parents?" He was mad at them for that. He told them, "You should not have done that. Give money to church, but you also need to take care of your parents. Don't say, parents, I can't help you because I got to give my money to church." No, you got to honor your parents, and that's really important. And we need to speak respectfully, but we got to have good attitudes. You can say the right things with a bad attitude, and it's the wrong thing. It doesn't come across right. On Mother's Day and Father's Day, give your parents a gift. Don't come up with excuse why you shouldn't do it or why you can't do it. You have homework. No, make it happen. Make your parents feel special. They have put a lot of effort into you, and we're supposed to honor them. Not because I say to, because God says to. So we honor our parents by respecting them, but we also honor them by submitting to them. What does it mean to submit? It means to obey them even if we don't agree. We do not have to be right, but I'm not saying obey your parents if they tell you to sin, but for most of us that's not an issue. It really isn't. And why should we submit to our parents? Not because they're smarter, because God has placed them in authority. Let me show you where I find this in the Bible. Romans 13:1. Let every person be subject to the governing authorities, for there is no authority except from God, and those that exist have been instituted by God. So we need to learn this lesson early. God gives us parents so we can learn it, but we also have to practice it later. We have police officers we have to respect to. If you get pulled over for speeding and you're like, "Man, get out of here, I don't have to submit to you," you might get arrested. I mean, all you had to do is tell them what you did, you get a ticket, you move on. That's respecting your authority. Say, "I'm sorry, officer." Like, there's just ways. We have to learn this in all areas. Let's say you're the president. Even if you're the president and you're like, "Oh, he doesn't have anybody to submit to," he has to submit to God. That never changes. You're always going to have someone to submit to. The president has to submit to the police. I mean, if he does something wrong, he's still going to go to jail. It's the same. Like, we always have someone to submit to, and we all submit to God. And then third, try to understand. And this is like one of my things that I want to convey. It's in the Bible, but it's really important to try to understand. You don't have to understand, but if you can, it'll help you. And like your parents, seeing things from other people's points of view really helps us learn, helps us to get along with people and have good relationships. Proverbs 17:27 says this: "Whoever restrains his words has knowledge, and he who has a cool spirit is a man of understanding." So if we are understanding, we will be even-tempered. We'll be able to make it through bad times and bad experiences because we are going to be even-tempered. That should be our goal. When George was told he couldn't get his new shoes, I bet you that he thought that his parents were just being mean. But you don't know. Your parents have a lot of decisions to make. It could be because they're saving money for college. They're putting money in a college fund. They decided that's more important than you getting new shoes. You already have shoes. And they're making decisions. And be thankful that they're making decisions. When you get older and you have to make all these decisions, you're going to get stressed. And your parents are dealing with a lot of decisions to make, and they are deciding which ones they believe are best. And we're supposed to submit to that. And it's okay. You can ask your parents why. If you ask them why, help me understand this, they might say, because I'm your parent, that's it. Just say, okay. And don't make a big deal about it. They don't have to, they don't owe you an answer. But if you can try to understand, see things from their point of view, you'll probably be able to better understand the decisions that they make. So I want you to remember, we honor our parents because God said to. God set it up this way, and there's a reward. On top of God telling us to do something, there's a reward. That our life will be better. Our life will be long. We will live long in the land. We honor our parents by respecting them, submitting to them, and trying to understand their point of view. So before I finish, I just want to thank George for the opportunity to go through all these things that he went through this day. Thank you for letting us help you, and it's going to help others. So thank you, George. And in your small groups, I want you to talk about this. And I want you to remember this. You're going to make mistakes. You're going to have a bad day where you make mistakes. But what do you do with that? You ask for forgiveness from God and from your parents. Because when we respond by not honoring our parents, by disrespecting them, we need to go to God and say, God, please forgive me for what I did. And go to your parents and say, please forgive me for what I did. And then learn from that and try not to do it again in the future. This is what God calls us to do, and for all sin. But this is, dishonoring our parents is a way that we sin. So I just want you guys to have fun in your small groups and talk about this as long as you need to.